What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a tight end tier list. These are 12 tight ends that are under $2 average auction values. They're $1 or less in most drafts. This season, there's only roughly 8 players that are, have an average auction value above $1. So if you're in a 12-person league, for example, roughly three people will, this will be their tight end one. So to break down the tiers real quick, we got top five. So they have a legitimate shot to finish top five of the position. We got top 10. We also have worth a roster spot. So, not much, guaranteed upside or potential upside, but still, worth having on your roster in case things break their way. And then finally, we have a void. These are players you don't want to leave. You leave your draft with, especially not, wasting a roster spot on them. So I'll start with the first one. We got Jake Ferguson of the Cowboys. For me personally, this is a roster spot. Had a rough year last year, but so did the entire Cowboys offense. He has been a top 12 in the position before. Just got a new contract on the offseason. If there's some increase in the passing volume in Dallas this year compared to the past couple years. He really could do well. Gets a lot of underneath targets. In a PPR league, he could be he does have upside. I wouldn't say he's top 10 right off the bat, but if he's getting the targets, he's getting the catches. Last year he just struggled with the touchdowns. He could really pay off at $1 AAV. Next player we got Dallas Goedert. Now with Goedert, tough situation. He's a good tight end, but he's in a good offense that has lots of other options. He's just not the go-to guy in this offense. I'm going to avoid him for this drafts unless there's injuries to AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. Just not really worth having him. Next player we got is Mason Taylor of the Jets. Now here, with rookies, I'm always a little more optimistic. I think you should take them on your roster. They might take a little, a couple weeks to, get used to the NFL and pay off. But I mean, we saw tight ends last year in bad offenses like Brock Bowers, do well. I'm not saying he's anywhere near that level, but just not much competition in New York. There's a good chance that he could have the second most targets on the team behind Garrett Wilson. Next player we got is Cade Otton. Now, Cade Otton did do well last year when Godwin and Evans were both out. This year, their Godwin right now is injured. There's a chance he might be back, in the beginning of the season. He might not be. Mike Evans is back. They just picked up Emeka Buka in the first round of the NFL draft. Jalen McMillan played well. Unless there's injuries, despite there being a lot of passing volume in Tampa Bay, it's just not really worth it. Next player we got is Zach Ertz. Now, Zach Ertz, despite his age, I'm actually going to keep him in the tier of he's worth a roster spot. So, I mean, if you look back last year, Zach Ertz actually had a really good year. There's just not that much competition for targets in Washington like there was last year. Now, they did add Deebo Samuel, who's also a veteran wide receiver. Terry McLaurin's the alpha. Jaden Daniels showed that he's a good passer. If there's an injury to Deebo or McLaurin, we could see him pay off. He's probably the least confident person I am in this tier, but I think he is worth a roster spot, especially if you have another one of these quarterbacks on your roster. Now, the next player is Hunter Henry. Now, Hunter Henry, I'm actually going to put in top 10. Now, he is a veteran. He's had quite a lot of years in the league. Last year, with Drake May playing, he actually was his kind of, his safety blanket, got a lot of targets underneath, was able to score some touchdowns. Current beat reporters are writing about, his involvement in the beginning of training camp, getting a lot of targets. He has good chemistry with Drake May. If he can be his go-to guy, I know they signed Stephon Diggs, but he's coming off an ACL injury. There's no guarantee that he'll be ready to go at the beginning of the season. Hunter Henry is sneaky top 10 potential wide receiver or potential top 12 finish inside end. Now, here we got Kyle Pitts. Now, with Kyle Pitts, this is the story every year. Since he had a great rookie year, ever since just letdown after letdown after letdown. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This is about fool me 4 times. With him, I think, you throw him on your roster. I'm probably giving him 1 or 2 weeks to prove it. If he's just not that guy. New quarterbacks, we have to keep that into account. Maybe they have more of a connection. But, not super optimistic on him. Just we've seen what his ceiling is, and you just don't want to miss out on that. So the next player we got is Colston Loveland. Now Colston Loveland, first round pick by the Bears. Good, good, good tight end prospect. Wasn't able to produce a ton at Michigan just due to the scheme and the players around him. Very athletic, good Ben Johnson offense. We seen what he could do with Sam Laporta. Just for that, I mean, top 10 is, I mean, there is a shot there. I wouldn't really say it's top 5 and 10 just because of, the sheer competition for touches in his offense. I mean, you got DJ Moore, you got Rumadunze, you still have Cole Kmet there. They just had to Luther Burden, day 2 pick. And yeah, it's just a lot of competition going over there in an offense that, should be better, but was, not really that good last year. But with these rookies, especially these ones that are drafted super, high, this is a first round pick, definitely worth a shot on either in your starting lineup or on your bench as a very high upside tight end position player. So the next player we got is Brenton Strange. Now Brenton Strange had a solid semi breakout season last year. Had some good weeks, lots of targets, and then had some other weeks where he's fumbling the ball, wasn't getting as many targets. Then again, he had Trevor Lawrence for part of the season. Then he had Mac Jones, and also Evan Ingram's now. He's gone. They did add Travis Hunter, but he is a young tight end. If Jacksonville offense can have a new spark under new head coach Liam Cohen, there is some good upside there. With the tight end position being as kind of weak as it is this year, a productive young tight end in Brenton Strange could make that next leap. Now, the first person we are going to put in this list for top 5 potential is Tyler Warren. Now, Tyler Warren did go, right after Colston Loveland in the NFL draft. There is some question marks at the quarterback position. Right now, it's looking like Daniel Jones will be the guy, which, is good for all the fantasy, pass catchers in that offense. Now, Tyler Warren, after the first preseason game, 3 targets, 3 catches, 40 yards. He looked really good. Training camp, all you're seeing is clips of him one-hand catches, mossing players, basically looking like he did in college. He's getting rushes in the backfield in practice. He's working with the running backs. He's getting screens. He's getting jump balls. They're putting him all over the field. This could be a player, typical like we saw last year with Brock Bowers. Not a good offense, but they were a stud coming in, both of the top tight ends in their respective classes. This is a guy who can have a ton of touchdown upside. Especially if they give him some work at the goal line. As a running back or in the running back position, wildcat stuff like that. That's really a cheat code in fantasy. Something we haven't really seen so far. But yeah, if their offense is better than expected, there's a not clear, but very very good chance that Tyler Warren leads the team in targets, and he's a player you don't want to miss out on. All these players are $1 or less, so no harm in adding him after you picked up a player like Trey McBride or David Njoku. The upside there is just too much to pass. Now the next player we got is Dalton Kincaid. The past couple years, it's been kind of a similar story to Kyle Pitts. Lots of hype, although Kincaid never had that that great year that Pitts did. He's injured right now. There's rumors of him not being fully good to go for camp. Dawson Knox is still there. It's been multiple years of lackluster production. You don't really want to be having this type of player on your team with injuries. He is still young. If you want to throw him on the end of your bench at the end of your auction draft, I don't blame him, but just not really what I would want on my team. So the final player we have on our list is Tucker Kraft. Now, Tucker Kraft, I do want to put him in the top 5, but I think he's more of a fringe, top 5, top 10 guy. He's in a good offense. He's one of the best pass catchers in that offense. He's got a good quarterback in Jordan Love. Last year was kind of his breakout season. Caught a lot of touchdowns. Great with the ball in his hands after the catch. There's a lot of injuries right now in the the Green Bay offense. If he can be one of those go-to guys for Jordan Love, assuming they don't run the ball as much as they did last year, there's real upside for him to finish as in that tight end 6-7 range. I mean, lots to look forward to for him. Still young, good offense. Luke Musgrave still is there, but he's kind of a afterthought now in this offense. Good offensive mind and Matt LaFleur. So here we go. Here's 12 tight ends. All $1 cheaper. Kind of how you should pick them up. The tight end position this year is very weird. There's a couple guys after those first three, it drops off a tier, and after those first five, it really drops off. A lot of teams this year are going to be going for late tight end, late quarterback. So if you can get two of these guys on your roster and either plug and play or catch one that's doing well and be able to put him in every week, it's good to have. Like last year, Brock Bowers was $1. Tucker Kraft was $1. A lot of productive tight ends last season were in that $1 and under range. So spend early on top tier talent. If you can't get any of those top tight ends, you want to spend them on a wide receiver or running back. These are 12 that are being drafted right under. They're kind of the first 12 to go after their those first 8 players. Some of which are definitely have on your roster. They have potential to finish very high in the position, and some players you just want to avoid. So if you want to see my complete list, my complete rankings for every position, including tight end, make sure to check out the link in the description below for my 2025 auction draft cheat sheet. Any questions, feel free to ask them below. Tight end position is very weird this year. Just want to get this out here. Give you guys some, a new perspective on position and how to build out your roster teams. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.